Hi, it's Fiona here from Trim Tab Tower. Today I'm in my space in Lisbon, so I'm trying to give you a little look out the window so you can see a bit of the beautiful city of Lisbon. And I've got the opportunity to talk about bodies because a friend is running a blog event called Body Positive January. And my journey with my body, I'm sure, is maybe a little like all of our journeys with our body. There's so much learning, there's such a richness of our relationship with the body that perhaps I can share a little bit of that. I sit here now, I stand here now at 43, feeling that I have the closest, most loving relationship with my body that I've had in this body yet. And I feel really lucky for that because really my recollection of my relationship with my body for most of my life was quite disconnected. And I think I probably felt betrayed by my body as a young person for various complicated reasons. But to give you a simple example, your body, everybody's body, it's very simple and it reveals a lot about you. About your thoughts and what's going on, and I think I found that difficult. So I'm one of those people that blushes at the slightest dirty, impure thought. So I often found as a child that my body would give away my uncomfortableness in a situation, which only made me more uncomfortable. So in terms of my relationship with myself, I had a closer relationship with my mind than with my body, and I felt my body was liable to betray me. So I would much rather be in my mind, in my head. And that continued. Like I was one of those kids that was just hopeless at sport and anything coordinated, and I just really didn't get joy naturally from moving the body. And I was disconnected really also from flavour, from food, from smell. I just wasn't really in my body very much. But then I was very lucky that, things happen at the time that they're supposed to happen. But a couple of things happened that lined up. One is that I remember learning my Myers-Briggs, getting my Myers-Briggs accreditation, and we talk about how the different aspects of ourselves develop with time. And the way my personality type is, in between 35 and 55, my introverted sensing becomes a function that I'm stronger at developing. And I definitely felt that it was around that age. I think I was in my early 30s, or maybe 30, 29, 30, when I did that training. And I was beginning for the first time in my life to get sensory information from my body that I could actually be present to. I think before that, sensory information from my body had been too much for me to take on, and I would just leave the body. So I was quite good at leaving the body as a young person, definitely able to float up above my body. But somewhere around that early 30s mark, one way of talking about it would be to say that my introverted sensing came online, and I was able to be a bit more with the body sensations. And that was also a time when I was discovering yoga for the first time as an adult. So yoga is very good for slowing you down and using the body to lead into meditation. I've been someone who's been lucky enough to have meditation in my life, most of my life, from quite a young child, but it was definitely a head experience for me until then. So somewhere around this point where yoga started coming online and this introverted sensing ability came online, began to be able to cope with sensory information in my body. And then I was very lucky to work with a teacher more in my mid-30s who really helped me stay present to my emotional sensations and my bodily sensations, because I really had that panic and anxiety response of leaving the body at any pain or discomfort. And as I was able to do that, to really learn the richness of the language of my body, I just became more and more connected to my body. And when I finally was able to arrive here in the body, then began this real relationship of just such gratefulness to have a body, and so grateful for the very simple servant that the body is. So many years of punishment and ignoring that it took, from me, so many years that I considered my body to not be important. And yet as soon as I was willing to turn my attention to the body was there ready to greet me and to work with me. So I find that the body doesn't hold a grudge. That's something that I just find so beautiful. And I love watching The Biggest Loser. I know it's kind of got all of its problems, but one of the things I love about it is how people can abuse their body for such a long time, and you see them walk into the show with this body that's obviously taken so much punishment. And the minute that the person on the show decides to put attention on the body, it responds. I just love that about the body. I really, it's such a beautiful gift to have a friend like that, and that is what we all have with the body. Then at the same time that I was working with a teacher to become more able to be present to the sensations of my body, I was also lucky enough to have been struck by the inspiration to become a massage therapist. So this is like the complete 180 from being in my head and distancing myself from the body my whole youth, childhood, young adulthood, to then become a massage therapist was also wonderful therapy for me, because of course learning to massage, you have to be massaged a lot, so lots of times for me to be naked and experiencing my body being touched by different people and different sensations. And then there's also the enormous honour of working with somebody else as I'm learning, and now as a massage therapist. So one of the things that is really beautiful about being a massage therapist is that everybody who comes here brings their body and puts it on the table, and it's naked, literally, like they've really taken off any covers, anything that's hiding, and they are vulnerable to whatever it is that the massage therapist is going to do. And we all know that thing of going to find a new massage therapist and, all the, or they don't have the right touch, or they're not listening, or they're not responding to you, or they're too soft, or they're too hard, or they're, all of these problems. Every time someone comes for a massage, especially the first time they come, they're doing that. They're really exposing themselves in a very vulnerable way. So it's a real honour to work with people as a massage therapist. And one of the things that struck me when I really first started working, once I'd finished learning and I was working, was how beautiful the human body is. And I don't know if this is a gift of being a massage therapist, but people come in and there is never a client that you don't find your breath taken away by something beautiful about that client. And to give you the extreme, like my breath's been taken away by someone's armpit hair, which I would never imagine would be beautiful, and yet you find this creation, this amazing nature has come together with all this unique DNA of all the generations, and here is the physical manifestation of that DNA expression, and they've got great armpit hair, or great toes, or a knee that you come, or a shoulder, or the way they hold their head, or it's a real gift of this job. So I think to be constantly reminded of the beauty of the body, massage therapists are very lucky like that. We're constantly reminded of that. And so I guess that also gives me an appreciation for the body. And now I just feel like we're so lucky. Each of us is so lucky to have this gift of a body. And sometimes the way that I think about it is, it's like, how like drones are kind of becoming such a cool thing and such an everyday thing that people could have a drone, and go and, like, Amazon delivers things by drone, or that people have drones that they make videos from. Well, they go flying around for fun, and you see those videos on YouTube of just unique and amazing things that you wouldn't be able to see without a drone. Someone's deep out in the ocean in the middle of nowhere and can fly their drone off to follow a dolphin pack or whatever it is, and you see stuff that you wouldn't see. And bodies remind me of that. Imagine if you could have a drone that could see things. Oh, I've got a webcam on it, now I can see things. Imagine if you could have a drone that can hear things. Imagine if you could have a drone that could sense hot and cold, and weather conditions. Imagine that if you could have a drone that would feel barometric pressure and tell what the atmosphere is really like. Wow, imagine what that would be like. Send off my drone. Imagine a drone that could do all of those things, and if it got injured, could heal itself. Imagine a drone that could process elements from nature and turn that into energy, so it didn't need to be recharged. as you realize that is what we've got, this amazing, amazing tool that we call the body that can do all these things, like heal itself, like gain nourishment from nature, from what the earth gives to us. It can turn that into energy that can produce life. This is this request to talk about the body is from a blog that involves mums and children, and I think that ability to create life, it's just, yeah. And then all the sensory richness that we have, all those nerve endings, all that sixth sense that we have, that I found confronting and overwhelming when I wasn't connected to my body, is such a gift. The fine tuning that we can do to tune into something or someone, it's astounding to have a body. So having been someone who really, really would have given up my body earlier in my life, I now find myself extremely in gratitude for the body, and I encourage everybody to keep pursuing that relationship with the body. And it's certainly something that I work with people as a life coach and as a teacher and as a massage therapist, is how can we appreciate the body. Often I run people through an exercise of writing a letter to the body, and it's a profound way to deepen that connection and friendship that we have with this gift of a body that's so willing, such a servant that is so willing to do whatever we wish. If it's, gaining weight, losing weight, running a marathon, having a baby, sitting at the computer all day, whatever we wish to do, the body's so willing to support us in that. So that's a little of my story of the journey with the body. And I look forward to hearing more about your story. And I might include here a link, if I remember, for my 42nd birthday, I put together a photo story of my journey, 42 photos to explain my 42 years. And several of those touched on, my disconnect from the body. So if I can find that, I'll link that for you too. Until then, namaste.